Newscast on the Street 919 FM, brought to you courtesy TN Tech, the power to make it work. In the headlines, Ansel Roger says the reintroduction of the property tax is ill-advised at this time. 9 police officers to be isolated after woman breaks quarantine order to make police report. And in news overseas, the Haitian Prime Minister is banned from leaving the country amidst the investigation into the assassination of Jovenel Moise. With the details, I am Jason Shields. The president of the Joint Trade Union Movement, Ansel Roger, believes the reintroduction of the property tax at this time will add to the economic hardship facing the country. During a virtual press conference earlier today, Mr. Roger said that bringing back the tax in the midst of a pandemic and economic uncertainty could well be the straw that breaks the proverbial camel's back, as it will become another contributor to the ever-rising cost of living in Trinidad and Tobago. He accused the government of choking citizens to make up the loss after making poor decisions about state assets. Only last week, the Ministry of Finance issued a notice saying landowners must submit a form with supporting documents by November 30th. Mr. Roger described the form as complex and detailed and more suitable for professionals to complete accurately. Failure to complete the forms accurately can result in imprisonment and or a fine of $5,000, which he stated was a pittance for the elite, but a large sum for most of the population. The JTAM head added that property tax is not a recent phenomenon and reminded that former Prime Minister Patrick Manning's proposal for a new property tax regime before the 2010 general election drew opposition from wide cross-sections of the country, which he said is widely believed to be a major factor that led to the People's National Movement's defeat at the polls. In other news, 9 police officers attached to the Valencia police post have been placed on a quarantine after a woman who tested positive for COVID-19 visited the station on Tuesday afternoon. The woman breached the quarantine orders around 5 p.m. on Tuesday to make a report of a domestic disturbance at the station, which involved 2 siblings. The woman never informed the officers of the quarantine orders in place, and while at the station, the siblings got into another fight at the station's charge room, to which the officers got involved to subdue the siblings. Both siblings were arrested and charged for disorderly behavior. While being processed, one of the siblings presented a quarantine document which was currently in effect, and further checks confirmed that the woman was a COVID-19 positive case and had been issued a stay-at-home order. The woman was charged with breach of quarantine, while investigators determined if other charges can be laid against her. The station was immediately sanitized, and prisoners at the station were given station bail and allowed to leave with explicit instructions to avoid meeting with people for the next week. The Trinidad and Tobago Electricity Commission will be continuing its scheduled maintenance work across the country, which will leave some communities temporarily without an electrical supply. On Thursday, most areas within Petite Valley, with the exception of Hill Crescent Drive, will have their supply interrupted between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. In South Trinidad, the community of Hard Bargain will be without a supply between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m., while customers along Lal Bihari Trace number 2 in Dibay will see their supply interrupted between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. TN Tech customers in parts of New Grant will be without electricity between noon and 3 p.m. also on Thursday. Finally, news outside of Trinidad and Tobago, Haitian Prime Minister Ariel Henry has been banned from leaving the country amidst the investigation into the alleged involvement in the recent assassination of President Jovenel Moïse. A prosecutor is seeking charges against Mr. Henry, who has been asked to explain his links with a key suspect in the killing. Records show that Mr. Henry and Joseph Felix Badio had multiple phone calls just hours after the assassination on July 7th. Mr. Moïse was killed when gunmen stormed his private residence in the suburbs of the capital, Port-au-Prince. And that was a look at your news in detail to 4 p.m. on the street 919 FM, courtesy TM Tech, the power to make it work. Recapping the headlines. Ansel Roger says reintroduction of property tax is ill-advised at this time. 9 police officers to be isolated after woman breaks quarantine order to make reports. And in news outside of Trinidad and Tobago, Haitian Prime Minister is banned from leaving the country amidst the investigation into the assassination of Jovenel Moïse. And that was your news to 4 p.m. on the Street 919 FM. Stay tuned for more programming on the Street 919 FM. The Aisha Wells Show comes up next. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Jason Shields. News from the street. 919fm.com. Entertainment, information, conversation. All on Street 91.9 FM, the official station that defends the nation.
Whoa, na 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 na, yeah. Fill my cup all over me, like a river over me. Once I use them, it can't go wrong. Oh, na na na, yes. I just can't get over you. Every single thing you do, yeah, shows that I'm on your mind. Now I feel some type of way, yeah. When I stop and check out how much you guide my days, yes. So me now, go down, if I know you, go down, right now I'm feeling another summer.